You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report, episode 150.1, our daily report on all things Central Indiana sports, along with some major national news.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whenever you've chosen to listen to the Central Indiana Sports Report, we love having you along for the ride. Today is January 16th, 2025. It's a Thursday, so it's another day for the Central Indiana Sports Report. I'm your host, Greg Mengelt, and I love Central Indiana sports. Today, I'm at Stage 22 in Elwood. Producer Susie is in the control room at headquarters in Jeffersonville. Coming up, we've got girls basketball and boys basketball results from Thursday, and I'll look ahead to Friday's games. Some info on Friday's girls wrestling state finals, plus updates on the Pacers, IU's women, the Indy Ignite, the college football national championship, and the NFL playoffs. Before we get to that, please go like, subscribe, or follow us on whatever platform you're listening to me right now, so you do not miss a single segment. Reminder, we are now on YouTube as well. Just search Central Indiana Sports Report, and it should be easy to find. To some girls basketball from Thursday night, Frankton beat Tipton 49-24. Lapel is 13-7 after beating Shenandoah 67-45. Monroe Central won its fifth straight game, 50-30 over Muncie Central. Mechaniqua snapped Western's five-game winning streak with a 56-45 victory. Mechaniqua's Delaney Betzner led all scorers with 18 points. Sheridan doubled up Speedway 48-24 for its 14th consecutive win. The Blackhawks led 19-2 after the first quarter and 27-2 at halftime. Senior Kinsey Garner had 26 points and 14 rebounds to lead the way for Sheridan. Delta held off Yorktown to avenge an earlier loss to the Tigers 53-50. Delta led 19-2 11 minutes into the game and led by 14 going into the fourth quarter before a late Tigers run that fell just short. Jillian Barnes led the Eagles with 17 points. Yorktown's Lily Sylvester scored 22 of her game-high 26 points in the second half during Yorktown's comeback. The Eagles have won 5 in a row and will face 16-2 Wapahani in Saturday's Delaware County Championship. The Raiders beat Daleville for the second time this season, 40-28, and won at Delta 44-42 on November 22nd, their second game of the year. The Raiders and Eagles will meet at 6 o'clock on Saturday at Delta for the Delaware County Championship. In the Indianapolis City Tournament, Cathedral beat Purdue Poly 65-42, and Chittard got past Covenant Christian 58-45. We only had one game in boys basketball on Thursday. Class A number 8 Liberty Christian is 8-5 after a 78-60 win over Tinley. Elwood was scheduled to be at GEO Next Generation on Thursday. They arrived there and no one was there. So the game is delayed or canceled or something, but no Elwood game on Thursday night. They do, however, play on Friday, and I will have the full schedule for Friday coming up. The first ever official IHSAA Girls Wrestling State Finals will be Friday at the Cortiva Coliseum at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. Most people know it as the Pepsi Coliseum. The finals will be streamed on ihsaatv.org. The gates open at 8:30. The Parade of Champions is at 9:30. The first round begins at 10. The quarterfinals and semifinals will be immediately after the first round. There's an intermission from 3:30 to 4:15. The consolation round is at 4:15, and the championship round is at 7, and we expect to have at least a couple, in that championship round. Our finalists from our local area, one of those expected to compete in fact, both of our wrestlers in 105 are expected to compete for the state championship. Top-ranked Hamilton Heights Junior Kendall Moe is a 2-time state champion and 21-0. The number 2 ranked wrestler in the 105-pound division is Daleville sophomore Kinley Keffer. She's 31-0. In the 110-pound division, Frankton Jr. Jaden Hughes is 24-8, and we have Western senior Rebecca McGuire, who's 17-5. At 115, Eastbrook sophomore Haley Corporal is ranked 8th in the state. She's 29-2 and finished 8th last year at 120 pounds. And Western senior Reagan McGuire is 27-11. We also have two wrestlers at 120. Third ranked Hamilton Heights senior Zoe Pugh is 21-2. She finished 6th in the state last year. And Marion junior Alana Montgomery is 21-6. At 130 pounds, a outside contender is 10th ranked Lapel junior Paige Stiers. She's a three-time state qualifier. She is qualified for state at 113 and 120 and is now at 130. Probably the best wrestler in all of Indiana is Pendleton Heights number 1 ranked Maddie Marsh. She's 17-0. She won the state championship at 140 as a freshman. In middle school, she was a state champion the year before that. She finished 4th nationally in the 16 and under division in 2024. Also in the 140 division is Western freshman Ava Rowe, who is 21-4. At 145, Western freshman Jade Johnson is something else. She's 32-0 and ranks 2nd in the state. Also, Hamilton Heights junior Isabella Bailey is 11-8. She will also compete in the 145 division. At 155, number 8 ranked Westdale sophomore Sophia Gropp is 23-2. She finished 7th at 170 last year and is down a weight class. At 170, Westdale sophomore Paisley Chambers is ranked 13th in the state. She is 22-6 and finished 5th last year. And Tipton sophomore Emerson Atkins is 26-3. She's ranked 16th in the state. And at 235, Kokomo senior Brielle Humphreys is a state championship contender. She's ranked 2nd in the state. She's 19-1, took her first loss of the season in the regional, where she finished 2nd. She finished 4th in the state as a freshman and as a sophomore. Also on Friday, we have a full lineup of basketball games. We start with the girls. 11-5 Elwood is at 2A number 3 Alexandria, which is 18-1. That game's at 6. 7-10 Mississinawa, which has won 3 of its last 5 games, goes to 2-17 Blackford at 6:30. 11-5 Rossville has won 4 of its last 5 games, goes to Tri Central, which is 6-11, has lost 6 straight. That game's at 6 as part of a girls boys doubleheader. New Pal is 8-7, goes to Pendleton, which is 12-6. Pendleton just won the Madison County Championship and has won 6 games in a row. That game is also at 6 as part of a doubleheader. 2-17 Anderson goes to 12-4 Lafayette Jeff, which is unbeaten in the North Central Conference. That game's at 8. And 4-15 Taylor, coming off a big win over Madison Grant, goes to Class A number 14 Clinton Central, which has won 6 in a row and is 13-4. That game is at 6. To the boys' games for Friday night. Big CIC game. Mississinawa is 5-5 overall, 1-1 in the CIC. They go to Blackford, which is on top of the CIC at 3-0. The Bruins are 6-5 overall. That game is scheduled to tip around 8. Also in the CIC, 5-5 Eastbrook goes to 7-3 Oak Hill. Oak Hill's also unbeaten in the conference at 2-0 and has won 5 of their last 6 games. Their only loss during that time was to Eastbrook in the first round of the Grant 4 tournament. That was 43-38 just a couple of weeks ago. Another CIC game, 4-6 Madison Grant goes to 3-7 Frankton at 7:30. Both teams are 1-1 in the CIC. And 2-9 Elwood is at 3-10 Alexandria at 7:30. Alexandria beat Elwood 62-37 on January 17th. Class 2A number 12 Tipton has won 6 in a row. They go to Northwestern, which is 6-4. Tipton is 8-2. That game's scheduled for 7:30. Hamilton Heights is 7-5 and has won 3 in a row. They go to Lapel for what should be a good one. Lapel is 6-4, also at 7:30. Just assume the rest of the games are at 7:30 unless I tell you. 3A number 7 New Pal goes to Pendleton Heights. New Pal is 10-2. Pendleton is 5-6 and has won 4 of its last 5. In the Hoosier Heartland, 7-5 Rossville goes to 6-5 Tri Central. Both teams are 1-2 in the Heartland. 6-5 Delphi is at 3-5 Eastern, also in the Hoosier Heartland. And another Hoosier Heartland Conference game, 2A, number 10 Taylor is 10-1 after taking its first loss of the season against Eastbrook, and they go to Clinton Central, which is 1-9. And 6-6 University goes to 0-8 Burris. In the Delaware County semifinals at Delta, Daleville will take on Wapahani. Daleville's 2-6, Wapahani 11-0 and ranked number 1 in Class 2A. And winless Cowan will take on 4-7 Yorktown. The Daleville Wapahani is scheduled for 6. Cowan Yorktown is scheduled for 8. Despite being without Benedict Mathern, who was suspended for a game for touching an official, kids never touch officials. The Pacers had one of their best performances of the year in a 111-100 win over Detroit. Indiana broke a 12-12 tie and never trailed again, and is now 23-19 on the year after their 7th win in their last 8 games. The Pacers are 13-4 in their last 17 and are now tied for 5th with Orlando in the East standings, a half game behind Milwaukee for 4th. Miles Turner made 8 of his 11 three-point attempts and led the way with 28 points. Pascal Siakam dominated the paint and finished with 26. Indiana forced 19 Detroit turnovers and held the Pistons to 39.6% shooting. Like I said, one of their best performances of the year. They play 15-24 Philly Saturday at home at 7. The Pistons were 11-2 in their last 13 coming into the game. They're now 9th in the East at 21-20. The teams with the best record in the West, Oklahoma City, beat the team with the best record in the East, Cleveland, 134-114 in Oklahoma on Thursday. MVP candidate Shai Gilgeous-Alexander led the Thunder with 40 points. The Thunder and Cavs are now tied with the league's best record at 34-6. Indiana's women fell to 4-2 in the Big Ten with an ugly 68-54 home loss to Illinois on Thursday evening. The Hoosiers are now 12-5 overall. They were led by 13 points apiece from Chloe Mitchell-McNeil, Shea Sieski, and Sydney Parrish. IU hosts 16-1 USC at noon Saturday. The new professional women's volleyball team, the Indy Ignite, improved to 2-0 all-time with a sweep of the Grand Rapids Rise Thursday at the Fishers Event Center. The Ignite won 25-18, 28-26, 25-16. They play their first road game of the season Saturday at Columbus. Just 4 days until number 7 Notre Dame faces off with number 8 Ohio State in the national championship game in Atlanta. As of Thursday evening, Ohio State is an 8.5-point favorite in the game. Don't buy it. The NFL playoffs resume Saturday with Houston at Kansas City at 4:30 on ABC and Washington at Detroit at 8 on Fox. The Chiefs and Lions are both more than a touchdown favorite. On Sunday, the Rams are in Philadelphia at 3 on NBC, and the divisional round concludes with the biggest one of the weekend, the Ravens at the Bills. The Eagles are 6.5-point favorites over the Rams, and Baltimore is considered a toss-up by the odds makers. Taylor's Mason David was named NAIA Pre-A All-American by the NAIA coaches Wednesday. David batted .365 with 10 home runs, 52 RBIs, and 68 runs scored last year as a junior. And a sad note to finish, beloved baseball announcer and personality Bob Uecker died at 90 on Thursday. Thanks for listening to our daily report. Of course, we will be back tomorrow. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media.